Good morning, everybody. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, athletes shining a light on mental health. I'm out here in Rockford, Illinois. I got Big David Mitchell rocking the Mount Mercy hat. What's up, Dave?
What's going on? How we doing today?
I'm good, man. I think it's a Mount Mercy hat, right?
It's a Mount Mercy. Yeah, I got it
I,
on today.
I
You
love it,
got it.
man. I love it, dude. I got Igor with the athletic school in the building. Igor, what's going on, man?
Hey, everything good? Thanks for having me, guys.
Always, man. It's nice to have a return trip, man. You've been such a big part of our brand. This is long overdue. Why'd you want to come on today, man?
I feel like everything has changed. A lot of things has changed throughout these years since we talked last, and just trying to share some thoughts, some message to athletes, to people in general.
I love it, man. And for people that aren't familiar, and I always tell Jackie I'm going to intro better in 2026. Igor's a soccer guy, good player. I followed his college career. Then all of a sudden he gets going with athletic school, and it actually collabs very nicely to what we do. It's more on the mental performance and community and the greater scheme of impacting people. But I don't want to go there yet. I want to actually start with soccer, Igor. When did you start kicking the ball around? When did you start playing sports? Talk to me about you as a young man.
Well, I'm from Brazil, so we we live and breathe soccer there. We don't play any other sports. So I started playing when I was young, like every single kid in Brazil. When I started playing for some academies and everything, the the situation in Brazil is a little bit different when it comes to sports. It's kind of like
Mhm.
just playing football here. If you're not playing for the major leagues, you're probably not making a lot of money, you know. And I was playing for an academy, got to play a little bit professional, but then it was like, look, I don't want to live like this. The 6 months contract where you don't know what you're gonna do after that. So a lot of people started coming to the US to play and to study in college. And that's how I decided to come. Um, it's a process. I'm jump forwarding a lot, but my family helped me out a lot, but my English wasn't good, so I ended up going to a community college. I
It's
was
fantastic now, by the way. You sound great. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Um, I was in a community college in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, and after that, I transferred to a bigger university in Ohio. And after that, I still had 1 year to play, and I ended up going to Louisiana because when you're an international student, you have to be able to go to school. So you have to be in a hybrid program because you can do it online. Otherwise, there's no excuse for you to be in the country.
Correct. The visa issue, right? The visa issues
Yes.
that come with it. Yes.
Yeah. So I graduated and I still had 1 year to play and I wanted to play. So basically, I had to find another school because that school didn't offer a master's program that was hybrid in any way. So I ended up going to Louisiana. I didn't really love it there, but I played for a year, graduated, met my wife, and then moved back to Cincinnati, Ohio, where I am right now. But I mean, when it comes to soccer, I still play. I love soccer. I love the game. That's what we play in Brazil and in a lot of other countries. I'm getting open to learn more about other sports now. I watch the Super Bowl. I watch a little bit of NBA here and there. I go to the Reds game here in Cincinnati. They're not the greatest, but it's a fun time, you know. So
I got so many questions off the rip. Go ahead, continue.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, go ahead because I think a lot has changed. Last year I did a half Ironman to kind of like to push myself a little bit, just because I felt like I needed the competitive part of it that I was missing from soccer since I wasn't playing anymore. Um, and I just kind of like, team sports is a very weird environment because you depend a lot on other people as well. Like the coach doesn't want you to play, you can play. But when it comes to team sports, it's you against you, and it's a different type of battle. But I kind of like it too.
We're cooking, Dave, already. This is fantastic. And I expected that, but I just want to give you a shout out early on here. I got to break that down. So the first thing I want to touch on is the soccer transfer process. You went from a JUCO in the middle of nowhere to an NAIA school. It was Lord's, correct?
Yes, yes.
Which is, and this is crazy that we're the timing and how God works in the universe.
Yeah,
Lord's is now closing, correct? I think
it is.
they're what? So obviously that's crazy. I heard that news earlier this week. Then you bounce out to Louisiana, obviously, where the culture norms are nothing that you know about at all.
Yeah.
In that process, how did you keep your mental health intact during that time?
Honestly, I don't think I did keep it intact, you know. It's a battle. I remember when I moved here, so the way the international students come here, it's through agencies. So when I got here, the agency kind of told me like, oh, you're gonna have the scholarship and you're gonna pay a next amount of for tuition. I was like, oh, nice. So I have scholarship and let's go. So I get here and I realized that that's just the price of the school. Like I didn't have any scholarship. We got to the soccer team. There was 80 people on the soccer team, and for those that are not familiar, maybe we have like 20, 30 max.
Welcome to college athletics, my friend. That was your moment
Yes.
right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So I didn't have any scholarship. It was just the school was cheap. Um, and then, I mean, I remember the first week we didn't have a house. We were gonna leave off campus. We didn't have a car, so we got some bikes and we were trying to go around town, barely speaking English, to find a house to rent. And then they asked for a deposit, and I was like, "What do you mean a deposit? What's a deposit for?" I wasn't familiar, me or none of the guys. So. Um, so I remember calling my mom. I was like, "Mom," like I was crying. I cried a week straight, and I was like, "Mom, I don't know if this is gonna work." And then my mom was kind of like, "Look, just keep trying, and if it doesn't work, you can come back, and we're still here, and we'll do whatever we have to do." Um, but I think it's uncomfortable, but I learned a lot. We had a lot of Brazilians in that first community college, so I had to push myself in order to like learn English. Otherwise, I wouldn't learn English because I was just talking in Portuguese with my friends. So just going around the school and asking questions, random questions about, tuition and going to my advisor and talking to him. So it's a process, and you kind of learn like on things that you like to do, things that you don't like to do. And then I wasn't playing a lot, and then I redshirted that first year, so like everything seemed to be a lie. Um, so there's a lot of talk with my mom. My mom was very close to me. So and I mean, you kind of lean on your friends as well. We had a lot of people that was on the same boat where we weren't playing. Everyone was missing home, and then COVID happens, and some people go back, some people stay. I started reading a lot because I wanted to not only to kill time but also learn something else because I knew that even if I go professional, I I still have to do something after I retire. So I think I lean a lot into books, into podcasts, and just kind of stayed open mind to learn new things on how to handle those things and how to improve my performance. I think my goal was to play because I wasn't playing enough. So I was just trying to figure out ways to play, how because I knew that I was good, but there was something there that was kind of like blocking me to get the playing time that I was looking for. Um, but I guess you just learn to go with the flow. When I moved to Lord's University, I found other Brazilians that they were awesome. They were basically family. But again, my family back home in Brazil, like I would text my mom every single day. I would FaceTime them every single day. It was hard for me to talk sometimes in terms of expressing my feelings. I was never
Yeah.
big into
Yeah.
communicating those
Language,
feelings.
language barrier and the mental health side. Yeah.
For sure, yeah. And so there that part of me like, oh, I don't want to be soft, but at the same I don't want to make my family worry in a way. So it was a lonely journey, but I feel like I learned a lot about myself, about the world, because I was open to learn. Um, through the books that I was reading, I wasn't just reading self-help books. I was reading philosophy. I was listening to a bunch of different podcasts and, learning from other people and how they made it and kind of just self myself and meditate on like, okay, I see some patterns here. Let me start using that in my life as well. I'm not sure if that answer your question, but
That was a fantastic answer, and I had to keep you rolling there because, I can't relate to that. Dave can't either, right? We've always been the States. Dave, we've always been okay baseball players, right? We've always had buddies. I went to school with my brother, Igor, to put it in perspective. Like, I've always had people that I knew I could go to, a community, a family. You get basically shipped out there. Nothing is what it seems. You have to go through all these, sacrifices and these trials, and you're calling your mom, and your mom is going, the same thing that my mom said to me back in the day. Birdie must fly. So Birdie's gotta fly out of the nest, and you gotta see what's gonna freaking happen out there. So I love it, man. I think it made you the man that you are today. I guess the better question would have been, how did you float and survive during that time? But I love it, man. Do me a favor though. So you actually alluded to during the first answer that you're in Cincinnati now. You met your wife. Would you change anything in the process? It seems like it worked out pretty well.
it did. I would say I still want to achieve a lot. I still, want to accomplish a lot, but I mean, it's a process. I wouldn't change anything. Now I work for FC Cincinnati full time. I just got a new,
Congratulations, by the way. That's
thank
awesome,
you.
dude.
Thank you. I just got this new job. Um, I moved to Cincinnati. It was like a completely investment because we I got a part-time job which barely pays for the bills in Cincinnati. But I'm like, look, this is an opportunity. I have to make it work. I didn't have a car in Louisiana, so I had to buy a car to bring my stuff and to drive to work here. And almost 2 years later, uh, I have my wife with me now, and I have the job. A lot of things have changed. In April, we went to Brazil in March. When we got back a month later, my mom passed away.
Sorry
Um,
for your loss, brother. Sorry for your
Thank you.
loss.
And like everything changed completely in a way. But everything works out at the end. My wife is just my biggest supporter now. Since my mom is not with us physically anymore. And now I have this awesome job where I get to do a lot of fun stuff. So no, I wouldn't change a thing.
Shout out to your mom, man. She gotta
For
be
sure.
so proud looking down at you, man, and the person that you are. I just want to say that because I love who you are. I've loved who you've been since the beginning. It's been kind of cool to follow your journey when we were just starting out, when you guys were just starting out. I
Yeah.
got I got a weird thing that I want to do. I've never done this on an episode, but I'm gonna roll with this. I'm gonna give you three things. So they give you a random thing. Give me your 30-second spiel about them. You cool with that?
Yeah, sure. Let's try.
Dave, I don't even have a thing that we're going to call this a segment. We're just going to roll with this and see what happens. First thing, the athletic school, man. Tell me all about it. 30 seconds.
It's a way to challenge people how to think. I want people to question their beliefs. I want people to question their identity. I think when it comes to sports, it's not about how much we can perform, it's about how much we learn in the process and who we become in that process. And I think that's the mission of the athletic school.
The beautiful thing, man. Your logo's badass too, if I've never told you that before.
Thanks.
Second thing, you want to come on because you have a book coming out. 30 seconds. Talk me about the book and what's going on in that regard.
It's a process. I'm not too
Yep.
sure yet, but I think the book is to share that message with more people. I think books are a huge part of my life, and I kind of want to take a break on the podcast and kind of like, okay, let me talk to an audience that read books as well, and kind of like push athletes to read more, just because I feel like people are not reading more. But I think the mission is again is to kind of like bring that philosophical part um, to people in order for them to question some of their beliefs and kind of learn about themselves wherever they need to in order to become who they want to become.
Great answer. Last one. I'll kick it over to Dave. So obviously the premise of our podcast is that keep going moment. You might have talked about the keep going moment already earlier on the episode. If so, tell me right now, was that your keep going moment or is there a different one that you've gone through?
Honestly, I think every day is a keep going moment, to be
Beautiful,
honest.
beautiful
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. I mean, I can extend on that a little bit, but I think, every day now it's a little bit different. Now I feel like I achieved a little bit because I got this job here, but like when I was in community college, I could have gone back after I graduated. I could come back, but then I went to Louisiana. After Louisiana, I came to Cincinnati, and that was a keep going moment. And then I couldn't get the job that I wanted to get for a while, but then I kept going, and then now I got the job. So I think now it's just, I think there's another keep going moment for me soon. So.
Every day is a keep going moment. David Mitchell's mailbag. Let's fire it up, baby. Go ahead, D.
Yeah. Man, your journey is just inspiring to listen to as a listener. Just t listening to you and Pat go back and forth. Um, it's been a good one for sure. In in a big situation, maybe it's athletics, maybe it's a job opportunity, a job interview. When you start to feel pressure within yourself, how do you ground yourself in that big situation?
Um, I think I meditate a lot. I do a lot of meditation. Um, and I like to read a lot about stoicism and just read something that makes me kind of like grounded in a way. So I
Mhm.
think just kind of reminding myself who I am, because whatever the outcome is after a game or after the job interview, that won't change who I am. I think it's hard sometimes because we forget, right? We attach ourselves to the results a lot. So I think just reminding myself that it doesn't matter what happens, I'm still gonna be the same person. I'm still growing. It's just another step that I have to take. So I think I find that grounding in meditation, in journaling, and maybe like I read on a Kindle, so a lot of the highlights that I have, it's saved. So I just go back to those, and I'm like, I gotta read this, and usually that brings me back to where I have to be.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. Talk a little bit about your meditation. What do you do for that?
Huh. It's funny because so I read a book about Joe Dispenza is the author, and it's How to Become Supernatural. The book, unbelievable, and basically the idea is that in the quantum world, in quantum physics, you can do whatever you want to do, right? So we live in a life in a place where we create the whatever we want. So I've been doing this meditation, which is like he helps you go in a very deep, calm state, and then once you're there, once you're kind of like in the quantum world, you are able to create, right? But you have to feel that it's not about oh, I want X, Y, and Z. It's like no, how does it feel to feel courageous? How does it feel to be successful and all those things? How does it feel to be genius, and have everything that you want? Um, so I've been doing this meditation for a while now because it's crazy. Because January 5th, I decided that I was gonna leave FC Cincinnati because of the job that I was having. So my focus was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start coaching on the side, and I'm gonna go 100% on the athletic school, and I'm gonna focus on that. Um, I go to work to talk to my manager, and then she ended up leaving early, so I couldn't talk to her. And by the way, I've been doing this meditation that day in the morning for a few weeks now, and she leaves and then she calls me. It's like, look, don't leave yet. I was about to leave the office, but I'm coming back. I have to talk to you. So then she comes back and she was like, look, the girl from social media just resigned. And the boss there, the manager, wants you to come and help them out. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a part-time thing yet, but I think it can probably turn into a full-time. And like at that time, I'm just in shock because I'm like, that's crazy. Like I was meditating about it, and now it's happening. And again, that happened so many times, for the podcast when I was looking for sponsors, and it happened like that again. But then that happened, so I got the call. The next day, I'm already at the other office working for social media. 3 days later, I get a full-time job, and so it's a
Yeah.
crazy world, but like we can basically create whatever we can. And that meditation specifically when it comes to, being in the quantum world where you can create whatever you want and kind of like and I tell people at athletic school sometimes the meditation is just like putting a song that you like and kind of like thinking how it feels to be successful, how it feels to be a winner, But like you have to truly feel like you have to have goosebumps about thinking about it. And once you feel that way, your brain is changing your body is changing your brain, and then now everything's possible.
You're manifesting your best self, but
For
it's the
sure.
work that goes into it to get you there. That's a beautiful thing. Love that,
Mhm.
dude. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would highly recommend anyone that's listening today do some meditation.
Yeah.
I know we're getting close on time here, but I got to ask you one more question. Um, so as we go through this life here, we go through a lot of transitions. I think I heard from somewhere we go through a transition every 18 to 24 months, whether it's a new start, new school, new relationship. Um, New move, whatever it may be, what advice would you give someone that's listening today that is going through that transition, that may be a little bit stressed out or a little bit worried going through this? Because it will happen again.
Mhm. I would say dive with all you have into that transition. There's no regrets. I read a book. It's called The Midnight Library, where the girl kills herself and then she gets stuck in this place called the Midnight Library. Um, and then, I mean, I'm not going to spoil the book, but basically, there's a book of regrets, and there's a lot of different books of life that she could live. Um, and she goes as she goes through the life that she wanted to be. So she wanted to be an Olympian. She wanted to be a singer. The book of regrets um, gets smaller and smaller. So I think when it comes to those transitions, we have to dive into them with everything we have, um, leaving no regrets behind because there's so much we can become, we can learn through those transitions. I think we are the person that we are because of those transitions. Um, and at the end of the day, like everything changes. We live in a world that everything is changing constantly. So just go with the flow, dive in as hard as you can. Don't be scared, and just expect the unexpected from those transitions because I think those things will make who we truly are. And I think we shouldn't be scared. We shouldn't be, worried about things that can happen. I think we just have to go as hard as we can and kind of like focusing on making that book of regrets as smaller as possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Igor, it made a lot of sense, brother. This has been an absolute blessing to have you on, man. It's been so fun to watch you guys grow on the athletic school front and more importantly, watch you grow as a person. And just know our podcast and our community will always be a family for you guys. So thank you for all you do, man. Blessings to you and your family. And Dave, send us home, brother. Great stuff today.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. This was a special one. You inspired me. You got me thinking a little bit differently, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So thank you for coming on and impacting as many people as you do.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time and opening the show for me to share a little bit about my thoughts, my mindset. I love everything you guys have been doing throughout the years. I
Thank you.
love that it's almost 200 episodes. That's crazy.
Thank you,
That's
brother.
huge an accomplishment. So yeah, just I guess just keep going.
Oh, look at that, man. He hits the old caption right to end us off, man. Igor, this has been a blessing, like I mentioned, dude. Thanks for making a return trip on our podcast. And above all else, keep going, everybody. Let's cross to Sunday. Thanks, guys.